Hey,
Hey, people, what's happening? Sorry, Super Saiyan's in the team in the wash, but yeah, but people, been busy time, moving, and this I think Game of Dance 25 over there. Yep.
that I
And
am. It's that time of year. It's cool enough that the bugs are out and warm enough that they're breeding. It's very frustrating. Any gaps
yeah,
or holes in your house, you'll get them.
I
Pull
told
on.
Okinawa, but no,
Yeah,
this
same in
my
Okinawa.
wife's like full of mosquito bites. I was like, oh shoot, like God damn
Yep.
it,
Yep,
so
yep, yep,
I
yep,
haven't
yep.
done that yet.
They never tell you about all the mozzies when you go to
Oh
Okinawa. Australia,
man,
you expect them, but not in Okinawa.
good
But
grief,
yes, we had so just power on ahead. It's been a
yeah,
busy week. The MatMadik slide has dropped and it's looking popular, but it's looking like a really excellent first version. Like clearly there are problems, but it's a step in the right direction, and a lot of people are going to buy it, myself included, just for the form factor alone. When they do, I'll do an unboxing. I'll show you what it's like. It is a step up because as many of I've got a Steam Deck, which I play for high-end emulation, and I have an MatMadik SP for just little on-the-go games. But this is my first. This slide will be my first mid-tier, which requires a certain more level of development skills. So I'm upgrading my development tool skills, and when I get the thing, apparently it comes preloaded with a whole bunch of apps, a whole bunch of emulators, which aren't good. There are better ones available, so I have to be able to go in to into the editor to kind of the development settings and to change it. It's not like I can just pull out the SD card. This thing comes with SD cards at the front, and then you put the operating system in one and games in another if you're doing it right. Or you can just put them all in the first slot, and then it's all there. But this new one will have a lot of internal storage, which you'll have to be able to access, which you don't usually have access to. So I'm trying to bone up on my my development skills, to be able to just break that and get the stuff off the device that I don't want.
nice. And do you
Yeah,
think
well,
programming that hard?
well,
Anyway,
I've always believed, and I have read extensively how effective learning towards a goal is.
yeah,
One of the skill sets that you learn when you study game development in an academic sense, you go to a school, is less actual programming and more just problem solving, like engineering level problem solving. Like, hey, we need to do this. How do we go about it? How can you find the information you need to do this thing?
exactly.
And yeah, I want to be able to play games on this thing optimally. And to do that, I'm gonna have to learn what I don't know, and then learn what I need to know to know how to do that. So it's an interesting process. It will take a little bit of time, but honestly, I think it'll be worth it. Being able to just boop, play PS2 games out and about. Yes, please.
That was
We
about man.
now this video was really we were really excited. Donkey Kong Direct. Oh, we debated furiously. Do we do an immediate Direct?
Yeah.
Decided against it because of personal reasons. We both was kind of busy, and where we are, the release in Japan, it was quite late. So we were like, yeah, well, life got in the way.
Yeah.
Life found a way, as they did in Jurassic Park.
Usually.
Um, but we were excited because hey, it's our regular stream. We wanted to do this, but Mad Medic, do you want to lead us into this?
Oh yeah.
This
Oh
dark
gosh.
day.
High points and low points. Well, as you know, I'm a fanboy gamer then we're both fans of Nintendo, but we were as it, we're honest. We have to tell it as it is because we are well the whole
True fans,
we like
true
yeah, that's the
fans
thing.
must be critical.
Exactly. So yeah, for gosh sakes. I got this friend from like, the States, and I don't think he gets it. I don't know if he's because the father not top it on him, but he's thinking, well, Nintendo, you're probably not talking about people, but Nintendo have to protect their stuff because maybe something's coming in the pipeline and they won't be able to keep getting the money. But I think some have argued they've gone too far. Now, here's the deal. High points, Nintendo Switch 2 is sold out super quickly, record-breaking levels, and I'm really happy for Nintendo about that, and as a gamer. But we always saw this coming. This look apparently draconian power grab. Of our game, the game cards apparently seem to have been a bit of a flop at the moment because they've undersold. People have said to themselves it's not worth the money for something that I don't own. And if that's not bad enough, reports have been kicking up about Nintendo working the Switch and being serious about it. Now, again, they warned people about this. So let's to be fair, you know what you get if you try. Now, it hasn't happened to me. I don't have it. It hasn't happened to my manager who's got one. But what it means for the world of gaming going forward, I, you know what? I partially I if it I don't root against Nintendo, but I'd like them to get a black eye over this if necessary. A bit like what happened when they screwed over Sony with the PlayStation. That when it was supposed to be before Sony decided to make the PlayStation, they were going to make a I don't remember what it's called, but with Philips CD. No, they weren't with Philips CD instead. Sorry, they tried to make a game console with Sony. They backed out of the deal. Did something with Philips, and Sony said, "F you, we're going to make our own machine," and then they kicked Nintendo behind twice with the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. And I got to hand it to Sony for knocking monopolists on the head. Um, what's happening now with the Switch 2 and this whole we own your stuff, you don't, you rent from us, a bit like the federal the federal US dollar. It's like it's not really your dollar. It's, you render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, and then you got all that going on. People saying, you know what, Nintendo, you're gonna open the door for a competitor to say, we don't do that. We give you what's yours. If they do that, Nintendo's going to be eating crow again with what Sony did to them. But at the same time, Nintendo's reaching here and winning over fans regardless has also inspired some companies to say, hey, why don't we raise the prices too? So is this a bad look for the game industry as a whole, or is Nintendo just being the biggest, villain? And here we are.
Villain's a harsh word. I think villain is a very strong word because it implies a certain level of malice. A villain, in my mind, you can have an antagonist in a story. You can have an enemy, but a villain is someone who is openly antagonistic. But yeah, I don't like that term, but it's difficult to say that what are some of the Nintendo's practices are not openly anti-consumer. They're kind of screwing people over. And yeah, we have to talk about a story that has recently appeared, and it may be the precursor to some dark days ahead. Quite rightly, that Nintendo has implemented some some aggressive changes in their T's and C's, their terms and conditions, and threatened to break people's consoles if they break terms and services. They've also increased price, which is just open the floodgates. The moment a company like Nintendo does something like that, everyone jumps on the bandwagon. And hell, PlayStation got accolades by just not doing it, which feels very much like 2 generations. Almost 2 generations ago when the Xbox One first came out on stage at E3 and said, "Hey, this is a constantly online DRM machine. It will check your thing." And PlayStation went, "I disagree," and all the fans went, "Bah!" They're crazy. Like, "Oh yeah, you're not gonna screw us? Yay!" PlayStation, Sony wins. Sony wins E3 this year.
That's a secret.
And yeah, it's less, as Yahtzee Croshaw once said, it's less that Sony won E3, that more rather that Microsoft walked up on stage, shit themselves, and passed out in the shit. They shot themselves in the foot. Sony just went, "I disagree," and everyone went crazy. But yeah, what Nintendo has said that they will do, and is potentially just beginning to follow up on, it's scary. It has far-reaching implications, but we've tantalized you, we've teased you with this too much. Let's jump straight in. We're going to show a video, credit where credit's due, by Scatterbrain. I'm just going to double check the name there. Now, it has been reported on by a number of people, so you might have been seeing clips of this video, but we're going to watch the video in its entirety. We're going to stop and talk about this because there are at least 2 massive points that I really, really need to make talking about this, because it is scary. It is genuinely scary. Scatterbrain. Switch to... Yeah, the dude is Scattered Brain. Scattered Brain has a YouTube channel that talks about thing, but recently Switch bricked his console, and he went on and he talks about it. We're just going to look at the update.
You've got to thank God for the sacrifice, man.
Yeah, but someone had to have theirs bricked and talk about it first. So someone it had to be someone. So we've got it. We are going to look at it now. We're just going to look at the update, and if necessary, we'll go back and we'll highlight more information about it. But we're going to share, and right, here we are. Boop. Let's do this thing.
Yesterday, I got banned from my Nintendo Switch 2 for using the MIG switch. This morning...
So, those of you who don't know, just a quick heads up, the MIG switch is one of the better, or if not, arguably the best, SD card slots for Switch cartridge. It's an SD card into Switch cartridge, which will allow you to put all your games, even games you've personally purchased, and officially ripped onto your computer, which is why emulation is allowed. Legally, it's allowed because if you own a physical cartridge, you have the right to make a copy of that and back it up on your computer. That's legal. That's your property, and you're using it as intended, as you intend to use it with your property. Like if I buy a plate and I wear it like a hat, that's my damn plate and that's my damn hat. So even if it's not the way that the creator intended, it's my product. I'm using it the way he wanted. So he basically ripped a bunch of his own games, put them on the MIG switch, so he would have all the games on his console always. Which, why wouldn't you? It's just like a no-brainer. Continuing.
I went to Target at 7 a.m. and I got another Switch too. I was number 6 of 7. They only had 7 in stock. I was the 6th one to show up, and I got another. What can I say? I think that there's a lot of people that might look at this and say, don't you hate Nintendo? You got banned. I recognized what I was doing. I knew that there was risk in the MIG switch, but I like my Switch too. I'm loving Mario Kart World, and I don't want to give that up. And I'm sure I will continue liking Nintendo games. Do I love what Nintendo stands for as a company? Not always. Do I like how harsh they are on emulation and the modding scene? Of course not. I feel very connected to that scene. But at the same time, I can't help it.
Yeah, Scattered Brain, check out his stuff. He's done some nice things within the modding scene.
I like their games. I like their hardware. So I wanted to answer the question. Is my account banned?
This is the crux of the matter.
There you go.
So, in the terms and services, they stated that Nintendo says that if you use our console in any way bar intended, including modding, editing, changing, we will brick your system. Now, traditionally, that meant that the device itself was unable to connect to the internet. Meaning that you could use it offline, but you can never update it. You can never download new games. You can't do online gaming. All of it, it's gone. That's the official. That's the official process traditionally. Now, Nintendo, when they say bricking it, they mean unfunctional, as it does not work. It is literally a plastic brick. It's unusable.
No. I think somebody's got to file a lawsuit with people.
Yeah, but there have to be enough people to put in enough money and time to fight this. You could probably, there's an argument you could win. I mean, realistically, with the laws on the card, there are avenues to take this to court. The problem is that it's an international company, there's territorial licensing, and the fact that they change the terms and services, and you're buying the console is a complicit. Like if you wanted to go to a website and they say please and enter, and by entry you agree to our terms and services. Just by entering, you've kind of shot yourself in the foot. You have no legal recourse.
However, there's no contract that can protect it. It's something illegal. So if
Yes.
no, if it's You get it?
Yeah, no tiers and services supersede national law. So if the terms and services would go against national law, the laws of the land, are upheld, but it's a more difficult process, especially with it being a Japanese company. Their terms and services are very, the courts will side with the company in almost all instances. You have to prove, but it's a greatest burden of proof. But we will go back to the original video and we'll look at it. But the point being is that when his device was bricked, he used an illegal cartridge with his own games on it, mind you, but he used an illegal cartridge as per the terms and services, and he knew what he was doing. He couldn't use his PS2, his Switch 2, which sucks, which isn't good, but it meant that he could, because of the game cartridge system they've implemented, all the games need the digital cartridge, and that means they need to be digitally transferred from one device to another. And when the system was bricked, the system which was the primary account holder was bricked. Did it block his account? Did it take all of his online purchases? Did it mean that he cannot use his previous account and all games lost? That's the question. Because it's one thing to brick your system. That's personally a bridge too far. Blocking it from the internet, all right, fine, I'll just play offline games. All right, I get it. But
everything
taking
else
towards a countdown. No.
I think I think all you need is a judge with a big account. And with the kid who's, in fact, think about the girl. The girl got good too. You've ruined our Christmas now. Stick it to Nintendo, and at least in England, or some other country.
Right. Okay, let's watch this update, and then we'll expand upon it.
We don't think so. My Switch 1 does in fact work, but let's open up this brand new Switch 2. So I have 2 copies of Mario Kart World, and let's see. I'm anticipating that I should be able to set this up, no problem. I should be able to just get it going, just like a regular Switch. And the fact that I use my MIG switch on another system should not impact my use of this Switch, or this is going to be a very, very expensive endeavor. Got our Joy-Cons, and we got tablet. You know what I actually think I'm going to do this time? I'm just going to reuse my old Joy-Cons. Like, why unbox all this stuff if I already have everything?
It's a good call.
New Switch. There we go. Bricked one. Hopefully not bricked one. Let's boot it up. We're going to boot it up as a brand new Switch. Just throw this one away. Connecting to the internet.
Oh, you hear the pain. And he's joking, like, oh, I could just throw this away now. And he's just, oh, God. That's, ooh. I feel for you, man. I feel for you.
Connected. About to download update data. Great. So with my new Switch, what should I do? Should I put on a screen protector? Should I continue not using a screen protector? Let me know in the comments. What do you have on your Switch?
No, it shouldn't be in vain.
It should be in the situation. I've been in this place. I've had a question and I needed to be answered. And during the process of getting it answered, I'm just like, oh God, if this goes wrong, what do I do? What do I do? And it's almost like fear. He's scared. Like, this could be bad. I haven't watched this. I've watched the original video. This is the update. This is the part 2. So we're watching this together.
How many Switch 2s have you gone through because of the MIG switch? So again, the goal of this while the download is installing is I'm going to sign in with my real true Nintendo account, just like I did on my Switch 2, just like I have on my Switch 1. I'm going to make this my default console. You know what? Maybe I won't make this my default console yet. I'm going to not make this my default console. I'm going to make sure that my account does not get banned. I'm obviously not going to use the MIG switch again on this device. And we're just going to double check that it's not an account ban, that it is in fact a device ban. Right, because we confirmed yesterday my OLED switch works perfectly fine, but for all we know, maybe Nintendo is banning your account on the Switch too. So, I don't know. We're going to find out. We are.
He did mention that when in his original video, He tested out his Switch One, and that one works fine. The account works okay. He's able to use all the games he purchased legally and the big Switch as well. So the account is still functional. It's just the question: is it blocked on the device that bricked, or is the account blocked from ever using a Switch 2? Which
We're not going to transfer systems. We are going to make an account. We're going to sign in with my Nintendo account. Here's the moment of truth. Let's scan this QR code. Let's say hi to Pixel. Ugh. Say
Hi,
hello to the
Pixel.
world. Say please
what a
don't
great
ban my
name,
Switch.
Pixel.
Say please. Scan our QR code. Let's. We're signed in. It's adding the user data. It's been added.
Too hot.
We're not going to add another user. We're not going to have parental controls. We're going to skip the micro SD card. I think we're good. Virtual game cards. What do we got? Look at all of our games. Can we launch Mario Kart? Can we load it onto the system? Link in our systems. Alright. Download a Mario Kart. So far so good. Let's go into the eShop. And we're online. We did it. We've confirmed that Nintendo bans devices, not accounts. I'm sure they...
Okay.
Thanks.
That's good. That's good. I mean, again, bricking your system is a bridge too far. But if just destroying your account, like even just destroying your account on a Switch 2, meaning you will never be able to use a Switch 2 with your existing account, that's too much. But yeah, that was my biggest fear. My biggest fear was that in his original video, he bought a Switch 2. He made it the Switch 2 his primary device. So he could his Switch 1 was a secondary device. He could swap between, but as many people have talked about, the Switch 2 and Switch 1 had a massive update based on the Direct. There were game cartridges, digital games were treated as cartridges that could be traded. And while it seemed like a novel thing, it made it easier to like just send someone a game. Oh, you want to borrow a game? Great, here you go. The insidiousness of it wasn't apparent until later, because it meant that if I had a game and I lent it to a friend, I can't then use that game. So if I had a physical cartridge and I give it to a buddy, he's going to play that game. I can't play the game because I don't have the physical cartridge. But digital games, you can kind of download them onto a device and then load them on another device, and yeah, everyone gets to play. But now, no, the digital ones are treated like physical cartridges. They have these digital game keys, which means that if I'm playing it, sorry, buddy, you can't play it. It's treated like a physical thing. And when he used the MIG on his Switch 2, and it bricked, it wasn't just lost connection to the internet. He could not use
The bloody Switch.
anything. All of his game cartridges wouldn't work, and then he struggled to send information across. And that was the fear. It was, oh my God, is your account banned? Now, it's not the case. Yeah, I'm glad we've looked at the update. It's not true. But the first thing that jumped to my mind, and this is obviously it's a superfluous fear now. It just doesn't count. But my fear was, years ago, there were people complaining to From Software, the Dark Souls company, because a game feature of, I think, Dark Souls 2 and 3 was being able to drop into other people's games. You know, part of the game is writing messages, and there's a community around these territories. You play the game single player, but there are other people living in this world. You know, other gamers pop in and they can help you with bosses, or they can give advice, leave hints, and then pop out. But when people were hacking their accounts, creating super strong, god-level characters, broken characters, they would pop in and do EP and kill people. But they were leaving like trails of devastation because the game data said that there was a hacked character. It wasn't the player who was hacking, but a third person came into your game, screwed around, and then left, leaving a trail of slime. And that people were having their accounts blocked. They were having their games shut down. Like, hey, we found hacked game data. You know, like people were like, gamers were like, yo, I didn't do this. Someone else did this. They came into my game. They screwed around with me. They were a troll, for God's sake. They hacked their game to make themselves, permanent, like stupidly strong, or just like God mode. Went from player to player's territory, causing trouble, and everyone they touched were getting their accounts banned because the metadata showed that there was hacked character or hacked data on this account. And FromSoft had no argument about it. Now I do believe that they later games were more sophisticated. They would be able to differentiate. It wasn't just like an area of effect. There's wrong data. Everyone involved gets banned. But when he was talking about having his account maybe blocked, my fear was, oh God, what happens if in time people figure out how to break the hack, to break the block by Nintendo. They go into the settings and they find a way of getting around it, and they create these infectious hacked devices, and then they start playing Mario World.
Exactly.
Well, that's a multiplayer game. Imagine playing your game, and then boom, your account's gone. Why? Because your entire machine is bricked. Why? I didn't do anything wrong. You were playing with someone who had hacked. You're like, but I didn't, but nothing you can do. That was my fear. That was immediately. I was like, oh God. I could absolutely see this happening. I mean, I can even see people doing it, just doing it gleefully, like trolling. Never feed the trolls, never give them a reaction, because what they're looking for is a reaction. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, as long as you react to their stuff, that's it. You're just feeding the troll. The only way to get rid of a troll is to starve them out.
Yeah.
Never feed the trolls. But yeah, if I was just playing a game, following the T's and C's, I bought the device, I bought the game, I bought the game officially, and then someone else's actions bricked my console, I would be livid. Ooh, gamer rage meme. Just any one of the thousands of memes of gamers smashing stuff. Yeah, I would.
Dude, what's terrible is that here's the thing. I mean, fair enough. Nintendo can say it's no different than if somebody just put any old virus into anyone's computer. It's just gone. Now, they're gonna say that or it's like somebody dropped your Switch into a bath or something, and it's like, well, you gotta be more careful about your own thing, and that's what they're probably trying to say. But here's the trick: is the whole issue. I think we shouldn't distract from the point that even though Nintendo can try and explain it away, it's arguably unethical because, excuse me, it comes down to the thing when you brought up in the first place. It's my bloody thing. Now, so here we go, and that's $500 down the drain. Poor guy, but thankfully he showed us how to get out of the mess. Spend more money, So
yeah. That hurts. Yeah. The fact that he had to buy a new one hurts, but even in the video, he highlighted, I knew the risk. I knew that this was a risk. And again, his own device, if he wanted to take that leap, if he wanted to try, he accepted the risk. And I think that's a personal agency. I get that he was doing something he shouldn't. And he was forewarned. But he still, if he wants to take that risk, if someone wants to jump out of the plane, or they want to bungee jump, or they want to eat spicy food, or they want to get a tattoo on their face. Why? But, okay, you want to do that? Informed consent. Informed consent. It's funny, actually, because I was randomly scrolling last night before bed. I know you shouldn't, because it took me an hour and a half to get to sleep. But I saw this cute video of a conversation by a bunch of gym bros, and they were debating steroid use, And it was one of those kind of Jubilee things where someone made a statement and people stepped forward or stepped back depending on how they believed upon it. And it said, "Oh, we should never normalize steroid use." And only like one guy stepped forward to say no. And I thought, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I mean, steroids are incredibly dangerous, but I think the problem there is normalization. You shouldn't normalize a dangerous topic. You should normalize conversation. If you want to use something dangerous, be it steroids or chemicals, you should treat it the same way that like a trans person or someone with mental illnesses. You go speak to a professional. You speak to someone who knows the science, knows the timeline, who knows the consequences of those actions, and gives you informed information, so you can make an informed decision. You can consent if you're choosing to make that choice. If you're choosing to do something that is detrimental, that is difficult or dangerous, or changing your body, you need to know the pros and cons. You need to know what's accurately going to happen. And then if you choose to do that, that is your choice, and the consequences are on your own head. He knew what he was doing with the Switch 2. He knew it could have been a risk, and it happened. It did. The fear was the account. That's what scared a lot of people. Mercifully, the update, this update has kind of alleviated a lot of fears, my own fears included. But it does raise a few other points. Now, we're running out of time on our part 1. We're going to take a brief break. We're going to come back. We're going to do this. And then we're going to have some fun. We're going to watch the DK direct. We're going to kind of burn through that quickly. And it's looking good. It's quite exciting. But we needed to talk about this first. Because this is... Potentially, this could have been really scary. Right.
All right. Okay, people, we'll be right back. And let's not really think about the Switch 2 cartridges. I heard that they're not selling too well, but I'm just going to look into it. Maybe let it play out a bit more. I mean, in line
It's early days.
Yeah.
But
all right.
peace.
Catch you soon. Peace.